Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to the Young Pros Talk podcast. This is episode 2, Dating as a Young Professional. My name is Redmond, and my co-host for today are
Ian,
Allyson,
Emma.
And today we are going to be talking about dating, whether it's fun, is it hard, is it easy, whatever. We'll get into everything. But before we start, let's just see how everybody is doing. So Ian and Emma were on the last episode, but this episode we have Allyson join us.
Hey.
What's going on, Allyson?
Good. How are you?
I am amazing, sipping my tea.
Excellent. Me
Wait,
too.
I shouldn't be drinking.
Cheers.
We finally brought in an expert. It was good because, it was the three of us, and they're like, no, we need someone new.
Yeah,
dating
spice it up.
Thanks,
so
guys.
we brought in Allyson because she's done this before. She's dated before.
Excellent.
And she's going to give us some tips. We're going to do all the questions, and you're going to do all the answers.
I'm so excited for this.
Oh, this is great. So, but what's been going on? We were on everybody
checked in?
Yeah, we were on the last episode, so It's kind of like,
So everyone's filled in on how we're doing.
Okay,
Pretty
so
much
I
don't need any more on me,
Okay.
certainly.
Like, you're
cool.
here, so like we want to get to know you now.
Yeah, everything's good.
So Allyson is a dancer, guys.
Yes.
How is that working out for you? How's the dance thing going?
It's going well. I'm actually teaching, doing dance teaching downtown at Queen and Spadina City Dance Corps. Whoop whoop! Come for the rest of November if you are available. So I'm filling in for my friend AC. So yeah, do that.
How long have you been teaching dance now?
It's been actually just a year. So I've been performing for about 5 years, and then this year is my first year teaching.
And I seen you perform.
Yeah,
at the
you
Sony
came.
Center.
It was so lovely.
It was dope.
Yeah.
It was dope that it was a lot of different dance, types of dance going on at night.
Yeah.
And it was a nice experience. I've never seen a dance performance
Yeah.
before live.
Okay.
And I was pretty close.
Yeah.
My $15 bought me.
Yeah, it was a dope experience. Everybody fall for Dance
It was
North.
fun.
So that was
So what was your performance in that particular?
So I was dancing with Louis Shan and Company. It's a African modern dance company. We usually do tours, local shows, some shows outside of Toronto, and we did a 10-minute segment of a piece called Ja. Yes. Which was about a drought.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Dry.
Yeah,
Of course.
dry. That's where
Nice.
it comes from. Yeah.
It's cool.
Cool.
Nice.
So I'm good.
Good.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing. It's awesome that you're a dancer.
Thank you. Thanks
I
for-
don't have anything on my end. These guys are pretty awesome.
My date canceled. Which is great because I wanted to talk about dating instead of
and
going
now
on a
you're
date
gonna
with
talk.
her.
Yes.
So
And well, you know what? Based on when she finished work, she was ready too soon for my liking. I was not prepared for a date this minute, so I'd rather be here on this couch. It's great. Yeah, it's good.
Well, I'm glad you're here. I'm not glad your date canceled, because it's not cool to be canceled on, to be honest with you. Especially when you, how long did you guys plan to, go on this date?
I mean, in vague terms, we'd said this could happen potentially tonight, but up until an hour ago, she was like, "Are we still doing this?" I was like, "Oh yeah." I don't know. It was very casual. It wasn't as though we'd picked a spot or a thing we were doing. It's just
You were just going with the flow.
the way the last date went. It didn't seem like it was very planned out. Things just kind of happened.
So you guys already went on a date before, though?
Yeah, this would have been the second date.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
People actually get to those still.
Yeah, the first one was logistically difficult because we were in two different parts of town where we live, and I didn't want to end up in no man's land at a bar halfway between both of our homes. She's also a lot younger than me and still is living with some family, and I have my own place, and so I figured, okay, if we're being strategic here, let's get a date spot close to my place so we have a place to go after and just hang out. We're not stuck in a bar in downtown, and we both live in North York in the Junction. So found a spot near my place, but she got off the streetcar 45 minutes early and calls me, and so I chugged my martini. I'd been waiting at the bar, and then I went and walked and met up with her. And then we got a cab and then went back to the bar because I still had to pay my tab. And then racked up. I didn't know I was going to tell you about this whole day. Probably end up stopping before the point. Yeah, all that to say, we went on a date and we were supposed to go again tonight, but she's not feeling well. So now I got Saturday night free to myself.
Nice, which is always fun.
Yes.
Yeah, and pretty standard for me too.
So with that, we'll just dive into the topic since it already started. We're all single here, right?
Yes.
So okay, good. That helps a lot. So let's just start by saying, so we're all young professionals. You're a dancer. You work in HR, Emma.
Yeah.
Ian and I work in nonprofit. Mm-hmm. So we're all in that young professional. Mm-hmm. Plus, we're all late 20s for the most part.
30.
Excuse me.
You know this.
Late 20s. Well, average it out.
You know what they say, 30 is the no 20. So you're early 20s, really. So
No.
So, how do you guys feel about the dating scene? Is it hard? Is it easy? Or is it just a waste of time? What do you guys think? Starting with the ladies.
You want to?
Sure. My dating life is non-existent. I haven't been on a date since last year. Oh my god, I'm telling like all my personal stories.
Oh, 2016 didn't work out.
No, it really didn't. So it's hard to find people to date here because you're also not in like university and college where it was really easy to meet people. Now I find it's really hard, especially in my profession where it's like, okay, you're a dancer. You're going to meet a lot of gay guys. That's cool. Even the ones that are in my field, I don't know. It's personal preference, right? So I find it really difficult to meet people just organically and in the right space at the right time.
Oh, certainly. And I think we feel as though every time we are meeting someone that could potentially be a partner, we're forced into a situation where we have to put our best selves forward right away and put off an impression that could lead them to, want to talk to us more and maybe lead to us dating, right? So there's a lot of pressure in that initial meeting. And I've even found myself getting accustomed to whatever online dating or meeting people virtually and then be kind of freezing up in real life situations where I actually am supposed to know what to say and then get really overwhelmed by it. So I think, it's not always going to happen organically. And so you're hoping to either, I don't know, meet people through friends or hope that, you reach for that napkin at the exact same time.
I don't believe it.
All that bullshit. So I just look for those moments where I think I'm supposed to really say something and I'm trying to just jump at those moments and actually do it.
Do you ever have those moments where it's like, no, you go. No, you got it. Okay.
Well, I mean, for that to have happened, we both would have had to make eye contact and hold it for more than half a second instead of like the darting back and forth. I've done the like quadruple take where you make eye contact and then the second eye contact is like, no, did we just make eye contact? And then the third eye contact is to verify that the second one happened. And at that point, you're so nervous that you're darting back. You're like, okay, we're done now. But no, you're not willing to hold it because you don't want to be that person, right?
So what about you, Emma? How do you feel about the dating scene? So just so everybody knows, we are in Toronto, so most of our experience are going to be based in Toronto, but I imagine that it's probably the same in any large city around the world. So, but go ahead, Emma. What's up?
Yeah, but I think part of it, well, it sucks for me, but I think part of it is I am like lazy because I don't know, in the beginning kind of felt for the whole, it's just going to happen organically. I'm just going to meet someone and it hasn't in that sense. Like I work most of the time and it's not like I want to date someone from work, but even if I did, majority of people, I don't know, in HR are female or I don't know, like my company
and in HR.
I know there's female, like it's heavily female dominated. And also in my company in general, there's in my department, the guys that are available are gay. I don't know. It's just which is great, but
yeah,
all
for it.
Yeah.
Doesn't help you though.
Doesn't help me. So I have to force myself to like go out and meet people. And again, I'm lazy. Like I don't really want to go to the bar and like meet someone, but I have to. And I think again, like the people that are approach me aren't the ones that I want them to approach me. And it's always, it's always like the people that I'm like, I don't want you to approach me. I want the other guy to approach me. But it never happened. So I
Take
don't
note, all you guys who aren't approaching. You're the ones they want. And dudes who are approaching, back the fuck up. At least for Emma's sake. Like,
Exactly. Thank you.
So-
I agree. I second
Yeah.
that. So, yeah.
Well,
I was going to say, because you said it's kind of the same all over the place, when I was in New York, I felt like I had the biggest balls in the entire universe.
Oh, so-
Like, huh?
go ahead.
Can I keep talking? Is
Keep
this-
going.
is it
Keep
different?
going.
Like,
Go.
So, New York, you know, across the border, people are just like approaching you, and it's very like there's not so much pressure to it.
Right.
People will come up to you, you'll have a conversation, ask for your number. It's just a number, exchange,
Right.
talk. If it doesn't work out, cool.
Right.
Here, I feel like it's so different, and it's very black and white.
Oh.
Redmond's just nodding his
It
head.
ain't even black and white. It's cold and hot.
Right.
I think that's promising in a way that
I need to move to New York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
that this is as bad as it gets. Maybe.
so true. I think so. When I came back, though, I found that I was actually approaching guys more so than guys approaching me. Like, I wasn't scared to do it.
Mm.
And then because I've been here for so long, it's like I've fallen back into that, like, no, you go first. Ah, you know? So, like, just that mentality of, like, I shouldn't be the first one to approach you.
Right.
So,
So if there is still a bit of a mentality of men having to approach first, which I understand, I think that's just kind of how things are. What can we do to be less scared? What can we do to actually come through with this and like
This is
start
this is
talking-
Toronto. You can't do nothing. Sorry.
I'm saying, is there a way to break?
Have you ever seen a Toronto woman? Yes, you have.
Yeah, and I'm struggling with it a little bit.
Okay,
but it's in my own
exactly.
head, right? It's in my own head because I think, realistically, I should be able to talk to any person I want to.
Well, realistically, you should, except for when you're in Toronto.
So here's my approach, and I've thought of this recently because I saw a woman on the subway recently who was just dressed to the nines. Like, I just loved what she was wearing.
Oh, you know what? Sorry to interrupt you. I have to say, Toronto women are great dressers. They look really nice.
I mean, that's
Have you
no
ever been
doubt.
to the ROM on a Friday? Boy, what? They're
So
ready.
I've heard I have to dress up to come close to holding my own there because it's, you know.
But go ahead, your story about the subway.
So I feel like women take care of themselves much better than men do. And they put
for
in a
yourself.
lot of,
who is that directed to?
I mean, across the board, Red, if you want to be included in this survey, I'm going to include you. You would help my results. So I sometimes want to just like talk to women out of that like desire to just talk to them and tell them that they look good or that they like something about them, not with the intention of flirting or having an expectation of what's going to work out. Because I know that me approaching a woman on the street that has no benefit. But when I don't focus on that goal of like getting her to give me her number or like getting a real reaction out of her, if I just want to tell her that she looks good because I genuinely want her to know that, then I'm more likely to say it, and it probably will work out better than if it comes from a place of like, quick, say something so you don't lose this girl forever. When that's really, you're losing the girl forever no matter what. She's on the subway and she's getting off at this different place than you are. Don't romanticize it like you do every single time. Just say it and be done with it. Move on with your life, and then you don't have to talk about it on a fucking podcast later. So that's just my life, though. Falling in love every day on the subway and like learning how to deal with
I think
it.
that's our lives. And walking up the street,
It's
and
tough.
going to the ROM.
I mean, there are so many women in this city. Literally millions. Literally.
Yeah.
And that's overwhelming.
And it's going to be very, intimidating. I don't want to say intimidating. I'm not intimidated. But, I mean, a lot of these women in Toronto are very educated, very career-oriented, like, already know where they're going with their lives. So when you come to approach them, it's like, what do you have to offer her that she doesn't already have herself, that she hasn't already accomplished herself? So it's like, what do you do?
Damn those strong women. They're just...
Well, we're also human too.
Yeah.
It's not like,
Well, I understand you're human, but I mean, it's just weird for me because obviously I'm not from Toronto. I'm from Detroit, where I could walk up the street and I would see a group of ladies and I'd say, hey, how you doing? We might spark a conversation. It might end in exchanging numbers. It might end in nowhere, but at least they're very personable. But here I have these experiences where I'm walking up the street and the way I've been taught is like, if you make eye contact with somebody, even if you have nothing for them or don't want anything, you say hi, you speak, you know. And here in Toronto, when I do it, it's usually women. They're all like, "Oh my God, what are you doing? Don't say hi to me. Like, what's wrong with you?" You know, it's like they think I'm about to ask them for some change or something, or you know, it's not. It's hard to approach women here when, like, I think now I have the mentality if I were to approach a woman in Toronto, I already know the answer is like, nah, I don't want nothing to do with you. Like, it's not as enjoyable to flirt with women here as it is in an American city. You know?
I agree with that. Not necessarily, not to say that there's anything wrong with you or myself, but to say the same thing, it's like, it's not as fun to flirt here. Like, there's like some
flirting
kind of...
is fun.
Flirting is fun. Yeah, it is.
But it's just, there's like a wall, or it's forced, and there's this huge, you know, barrier, and it's like, okay, it's not...
Well, is it because we don't want to admit that we're flirting? We don't want to, like, make it obvious?
Yeah. Maybe...
Well, I'm like a natural flirt. Like, I flirt unintentionally. So, like, I don't even know when I'm flirting, right?
I know, I should start telling you, because sometimes I catch you looking at me, and I can be like, it's one of those moments, Red, and then you know when to dial it back a little bit.
So, yeah, no, I don't think I do that, but, yeah, I flirt, like, and I'm very comfortable talking to women, right? Like, because it's easy for me, like, I don't look at a woman like, oh, she's a woman. I look at her like she's a person, because she is. So that dynamic is way easier for me to talk to women. Women are very comfortable around me when they meet me, but it's the setting and when you meet them.
The wrong venue can ruin anything. Straight, I made the mistake recently of meeting a girl while she was at a crowded bar with her friends celebrating something unrelated to me, and it was the first time I was meeting her.
I mean, everything would have been unrelated to you, though, right?
Yeah, that's what happens. Oh my God, such a narcissist, right? It was supposed to be about me. No, but I felt a little bit entitled because I left my bar. I left the bar I was at with my friends to go see her at a bar she was at with her friends, and so I thought she owed me like a 10-minute conversation on that first time we met, but it ended up being, you know, a couple words here beside the bar before she got distracted by her friends and started dancing with other people, and it just quickly became awkward for me, and I pretended to dance or bob my head or whatever you do when you're on your own at a bar, lost. And
so awkward.
Yeah, and I mean, looking back, that's a no-brainer. You don't meet a girl for the first time when she's at a bar with her friends.
Yeah.
But like you're saying, like if that's the case, then when you're out with your own friends and you just happen to meet a girl for the first time at the bar, you're not going to succeed for the same reasons. There's lots of other people around, her friends are around, the music's loud. I mean, if you consider yourself a talker or someone that's going to have a better chance with a person because you get to have a conversation, then why would you ever be going to the bars? But the reality is that's where the people are at on the weekends. And if you're not seeing people on the weekends, it's because you're working during the week. So what else are you going to do? You got to go to the bars sometimes. It's just tough.
So I guess a bar is a pretty historic place to meet people potentially today, but
something to do with the alcohol, I think. I think that might have something to do with it. Those inhibitions just
they just go down. But now we live in an era where everything is online, everything's on the phone, and I'm wondering if you guys think that online dating is actually having a negative effect on like meeting people and getting to know them and potentially dating them. It's a long pause right there.
Yeah.
Has everybody done online?
I've done online dating
done
very
online
unsuccessfully.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't, because it's like, it's weird because I've learned with online, people are better virtual conversationalists than they are in-person conversationalists. But eventually you have to do that person-to-person interaction. And it can be very awkward.
I think the trick is to get offline as quick as you can. Is to like, don't get caught in your online persona between each other. Otherwise, you'll have a totally different expectation when you do end up to meet. If you can meet up within the first few days of talking to each other online, then you have a better chance of just establishing that feeling about someone right off the bat when you meet them, instead of having like a couple weeks of thoughts about a person and how they are and how they interact, and then being dumbfounded when you actually meet them and they're a different person. So I think, I mean, I'm the same. I end up getting caught up in exactly what I want to say over text, just because I have the extra time to think about it. And I'm planning it all out and trying to like put that best self forward up right off the bat. But it can really help ease the tension if you just, within that first week, make sure you meet, or at least talk on the phone, or like see a face with a moving mouth, like something else, so that it's not contrived text conversations that look good paired together. Because I think men and women are playing this game of like trying to make a perfect looking conversation to gather whether or not that looks like real compatibility in real life. So I think if you're getting caught up in that, you're bound to actually gain something with that person and make something special, but you're often going to be caught off guard too, because you're going to find people that aren't actually portraying themselves.
Right. So what do you ladies think? Do you think that online dating is having a negative effect on person-to-person social interactions?
Everybody's I haven't been on it long enough, I think, for me to make an accurate decision on that, because I've seen people do really well. Like, I have coworkers that, because I was a person that's like, oh, Tinder is just to hook up, whatever, so I'm not even gonna try. But then I have a coworker who's met her boyfriend like 2 years on there, and I know people who've gotten married off Tinder, surprisingly. So, you know, I could see some success. Like when I've tried OkCupid, and that was kind of horrible. But then, because like, I don't know, just some people were just really gross. So maybe it's different for guys. I don't know if girls coming up to you and saying gross things, but like,
never. Well, women don't come up to me and say anything. So
but I think you're right about something there, in that it's definitely not as appealing for a woman to be doing online dating, because think of all the creepy dudes in the world that are censored by the fact that they actually would have to approach a woman to say something that awful to her in the street. So at least when they can kind of hide behind the internet facade, or like that username, then they don't have to actually approach the fact that they're being as gross as they are.
Right. Yeah.
So I think that's probably why it's not a great experience for women a lot of time. And I think that's why certain dating apps came about, where the woman has to engage first to try and,
such as Bumble,
right? And and other dating apps have done this thing where you have to have like been in the vicinity of that person recently, so they're trying to make it more apt to be in line with your actual life, right? So they're trying to like adjust these virtual dating systems to be more user friendly and actually be relatable to your dating life. But I mean, the bottom line is, like you said, if you're lazy, you're lazy. And just because they're on your phone doesn't mean that now I'm gonna go meet this girl for a very intimate first date. You still have to be up for an intimate first date and be willing to like try to engage someone new. So dating doesn't get any easier by putting in a username.
So
you still have to play that.
Which do you guys prefer, online dating or a little bit old-fashioned, meet me walking up the street, or us at the bar, at the club? Like, what's your preference as far as meeting people to date, online or in the real world?
Definitely real world.
Yeah, ideally, I don't know, like, is it because I'm dirty? But like, ideally, like in person. Like, I guess I had a huge stigma that I didn't realize with online dating until I guess later on. That I'm like, fine, I'll just do it. But like, I just rather meet someone in person, because I don't know, it's like you see how I look like, you know, and then we could take it from there. But like online, like you could look how you say you look, but then we meet and it may not work so well. I don't know. I'd rather see someone in person. Yeah. But it is what it is.
Online, totally. Online, I find can be like overwhelming as well, because there's so many people to talk to at once, and it's like, so when you're in person, you know, you're focusing your attention. There's nothing else that's, you know, and you get a better feel for the person. I found when I was online, I was like always going after the person that was not in Toronto. Right. Actually go for like
New York.
Whoops.
One time.
It's a great time. So yeah, and there's something else that I wanted to say. Can't remember. Yeah, I tried OkCupid, and that was a disaster. And then I tried Plenty of Fish, and then I put my profile on. I hid my profile so that I would be the first person to contact the guys, because I was like, it was just too overwhelming. When you have people, on Plenty of Fish, you can hide your profile, and then you're the one who can do the first contact, and then they can write you back. So I found that was okay. Again, it didn't.
I mean, I can imagine that being so overwhelming. I went on Bumble where I'm getting messages from women first, and I get like 3 nice messages every day, and I'm like, ugh. And I'm like,
It's actually
and women will get like 100 dirty, crude, annoying messages, and they're like, oh, this is dating. This is dating. And I get like a, hey, how are you? And I'm like, oh my God, be original. Like we're
so on the ball.
Men are so lucky with dating. Like, if they were just pleasant. And I catch myself just being like, oh my God, I just have to be pleasant. Just don't say anything rude. Just don't do it.
Don't be a dick.
Like the man in me is like, say something gross. And you're just like, no, if you hold the conversation, you'll get a date. Like,
But I think the issue is, I feel like online dating is easier for women than it is men. Because I'm not talking about like finding dates, like people you want to date. I'm talking about the amount of matches you would make.
Oh yeah.
You know, like for me on Tinder, I get a match once a month, something like that. You know, so
Tinder's but
for
Tinder's
women, I imagine
women aren't using it. Don't worry, don't take it personally. Women aren't using.
They're not using it.
I don't think so. I don't get matches on Tinder either. Sometimes it won't even like show me someone in my region. It's like, no, you're good, man. Like, take a break.
Well, I'm just saying, like, for me, I've got probably total, before I deleted my Tinder, I probably had 5 or 6 matches. And none of them were people I remember even swiping on. So it wasn't that great.
But you're the type of person to go to an event too. You're a one-on-one connection maker.
I am, but you gotta, it's the platform, it's the environment in which you meet people. And the environment where I meet people, usually people don't want to date. And I'll talk more about that later. But I mean, it's hard to meet somebody and be like, I'm romantically interested in you, and I genuinely would like to get to know you. And I don't know if it's a Toronto thing or if it's a big city thing, because I've talked to women and they were like, when a guy says, like, let's get coffee, I'm thinking, he wants to sleep with me. I'm like, you don't have to say, you can still say no. You don't have to say, like, I feel like a lot of women act like giving a number is like the equivalent of already getting in bed with the man. Like,
it is.
Yeah,
it really is.
You don't have to.
I'm kind of guilty.
It's like my phone went in his number, and then next thing my clothes came off. It's like I don't know how this happened. But you don't have to. It doesn't have to be like that.
Exactly.
So
it doesn't have to. It can be both. Why can't I want to get a coffee with you and want to sleep with you, but be okay with just getting a coffee with you if you decide you don't? Like, I could want both.
No, I agree with you though.
Yeah.
I
can be okay with not sleeping with you even though I want to.
I'm an adult, right? If you tell me, hey, I'm not interested in you romantically, I will live and still be okay. Mm-hmm. And I will say, well, it's good to know you anyway. It was great. This coffee was great, because usually when people go out with me, they have a great time, So
Someone tumbles.
I'm just saying, I know that my personality is dope. Like,
you heard it here first.
I love that.
But I mean, this is not me telling it because it's coming from me. This is me telling it because people tell me.
Because he does the surveys after. Yes. And he's gone 5 out of 5.
But I mean, even like for me, dating is like, it's not fun. It's not as fun as it used to be, to be honest with you, because I feel like, and I don't know if it's because, like I said, it's a Toronto thing where, like, it's just so hard to forget, like, dating, because we're young professionals, it's just hard to genuinely know somebody new. Mm-hmm. It's hard to, hey, let's get that coffee and actually do it. Mm-hmm. Like, if I'm the type of person now where I meet women and I'm like, listen, if we exchange numbers, I'm trying to get to know you. So if you're going to be on that, I'm too busy, I can't meet you, like, just tell me right now, because I won't even put the effort in, because it's a waste of my time. I could spend my time trying to getting to know somebody else.
Right.
And I think that tension comes in those first few dates, because it goes quickly from not knowing someone to establishing that you're going out on a couple dates to then are we seeing each other.
Right.
So you're really like jockeying for position in those first few dates and trying to decide how soon you're willing to go on that second or third date, because how soon you go on that date determines whether or not you're making a decision soon about whether or not you're seeing this person. So
It's very overthought.
there's just a lot going on early in I think because we're rooting through lots of people online, or like we're being, if we're single, we're looking for lots of people at once, or we're like open-minded to that when we first do meet someone and start going out with them, we're trying to make that decision quickly. And so we're trying to determine whether or not there's a second or third date. And if there isn't, okay, how am I going to break this to the person and move on to the next thing in my life, right? And so then that's why ghosting and all these like petty forms of communication have come out of like pretty messed
no communication.
Or none at all,
Ghosting.
right? The ghosting, yeah. It's just
I think
like,
the ghosting that's when people don't text you back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's actually one of the most annoying things for me. Because as I said, if you're gonna plan on doing that, just don't even give me your number. Like if I say I try to be a man of my word. So if I say I'm gonna reach out to you, I mean it. If I say I'm gonna be at that coffee shop or that restaurant at a certain time, I'm gonna be there. So I expect that same type of integrity from the person that I'm potentially attempting to date. But sometimes for me, like I have a process. Like I never know right off the back if I want to date some woman I just met. Sometimes it's like, let me fill you out. Let me get coffee. See where your mind is at. And then, see how you interact with people. Are you rude? Are you having these large expectations from me? And then, you know what? She's a great person. Can I take you out on a real date? And I've done that. And I can respect a woman that says to me, right now, I'm just working on myself and I'm not really ready for that. And I'm like, cool. I can respect that, But I feel like you don't usually get that response. It's either you're ghosting or, it's just like there's nothing. You just hear nothing back at all. So I don't know how it is for you ladies. You the ones who do the ghosting.
Yeah.
So
honestly.
So what's up? What's
Why?
this ghosting?
it's not always the women that do the ghosting.
Yeah, guys do ghosting too.
Well, those guys, we'll get into Toronto guys.
Oh, you mean us?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean me?
You. Yeah. You're not from Toronto.
No, but I'd say I fall into that dumb Toronto bro. I'd say I just automatically joined.
No, I think it's...
I mean, if I'm not a Toronto bro, then what am I?
You're a foreigner.
Foreigner.
Where are you from?
Well, I'm from Ottawa. I don't know how foreign that is.
I still think it's different in Canada because even people that are from different parts of Canada that come to Toronto experience the same thing people not from Canada.
Yeah, I'd say Toronto is just an amplified version of all the terrible things about dating that I used to do.
Yeah. No,
it's just a worse version of it now.
True.
The women wear all the same color. All black.
All black all the time.
That is great. No, this is what I love. I love women that wear monochromatic clothing.
Can you explain what that word means, please?
So, monochromatic being they would wear a similar clothing color throughout their entire outfit. Now, I don't know why I brought this up. I think because you were saying Toronto women. There's a thing about Toronto women, and I don't know if it's like a trend that's catching on everywhere now, but they all are just like wearing black.
I agree.
But I like it. It's kind of like, I don't want to like give away too much of my personality with like the colors in my outfit. Like if you want to get to know me, get to know the real me. I'm not trying to like put anything else out there, by being.
I would actually prefer to approach. This kind of sound really.
It might be a stretch. It might be
a little bit.
This might sound really silly, but I would actually prefer to approach a woman not wearing black, because I just like people who are not.
Well, now we're just fighting both ends for the sake of it. Like I honestly, maybe we should just summarize and say women wear lots of different things. The ones that are all black, oh yeah, good when they're like keeping it together, and then. When women do that thing where they wear like all the different colors too, that's great too. Like, especially when they go out like at the ROM too.
Okay, yeah, keep it monochromatic. So we've all established that we prefer to meet people today in person. Mm-hmm. So for my question for you ladies is, what are some things men do wrong when approaching you? Are you guys thinking, or is there so much?
I'm overwhelmed with thoughts.
Is there so much?
They had to compile the list.
They had to compile it really quickly.
I don't know. I feel like things could just be super forced. Like, it just doesn't come naturally, and for that reason, I'm just like...
Can you smell that in a guy?
Yeah,
You can smell the fear?
Smell, taste.
You can taste the
Taste
fear.
it. Wow.
Wow. Whoa.
Okay, let's not get too sexual. Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, like,
Or-
well, I feel bad because, as you were saying, ghosting, like, I'm totally guilty of doing that. You know, nice guy I met a couple weeks ago, gave him my number. But again, it was such a forced conversation, / I was also a lot taller than him. So I was like, I'm not gonna... And I kept telling myself I'm gonna call back and stuff like that. And that's my bad because I'm a procrastinator. So...
You weren't procrastinating. You were never going to do it.
Well...
You were not interested.
I was not interested.
And
I
you
gave
knew
him my...
from the
and
moment you talked to him.
Why?
Yeah.
So why did you give him your number?
Because he was nice.
He was a nice guy.
He did it in
And
a polite
she's a
way.
nice Toronto girl.
Yeah.
And Toronto
that's-
girls do that.
And that's the reason why...
They plan to ghost him.
No.
We don't plan to do that, but I think you know what? I think that's why Toronto women get so overwhelmed with dating, is because they automatically feel like, once I see you, I feel like I'm gonna have to be with you forever. Like,
Oh God.
I think that's maybe a little bit exaggerated,
Yeah.
but we are very nice women, and that can be a total... Like, I think just in general.
Yeah,
We're
and
very nice
you know
people,
that anything
and I
that
hate-
starts, you're gonna want to either pursue it as you
Yeah.
would,
That
or
sounds
you're gonna
so-
feel bad about having to end it
Yeah.
That sounds so
earlier than you'd
weak.
like.
Like,
No, but it's true. Both options are. Canadians kind of like tiptoe around
that is
everything.
exactly,
And it's
and I hate doing that. Like,
Yeah.
I see it, I know it, I've marked it off. It's on my 2017
to-do list.
My New Year's resolution.
To just be really frank with all the
Yeah.
So
shortcuts.
basically,
Yeah,
if you
because
meet a guy that's interested in 2016, it's just completely wrapped. You gotta wait till 2017 when you start these.
No,
new resolutions?
that can happen. But yeah, it's just being honest and just saying not interested, or and it's all about your tone. It's not what you say, it's how you say it, right? I think what you're doing, you can also approach people, and if they say I have a girlfriend, or that's fine. You just have, it's about how you take it. So
Do you guys lie usually? Is that
what
the
do you
truth?
mean?
For what?
When you're like, I got a boyfriend.
I lie all the time.
You lie?
The last question I asked. What did I ask? Oh, about what men do wrong when approaching women.
Yeah.
And you answered. I don't know if you got to it, Emma. If you got your experiences out about what men do wrong when approaching you.
Don't be gross. Yeah, I don't know. I
Like a garbage truck gross.
Like that is the epitome of it.
So pre-show you talked about this garbage truck man approaching you. Can you just give the story to people, please, so people have some context?
yeah, so I was walking to work and
She so does not want to tell this. She's like, oh my God, okay. So this would happen. Sorry, go ahead.
this guy, like, obviously doing his job, he was in the garbage truck, and he followed me while I was walking to the subway, trying to get my number. And, like, he was at work, he could have hit someone, he was talking to me, and so I'm like, that's not, appropriate. And of course I said, oh, I have a boyfriend, haha. He's like, that's the polite way he goes, oh, we can still be friends, though.
That default Toronto girl lie.
You motion to yourself like going around the corner out of sight from this dude, like, gotta buy
Yeah, just got my friend. Yeah, he's like, oh, we can, that's cool. We can still be friends. You give me a note. I'm like, obviously that's not what you want. So yeah.
What I don't get is when there's those guys that are blatantly doing it on the street and they see the woman looking at them in fear and shaking and then being like, like, don't you then clue in like, oh, she doesn't look very comfortable right now. I guess my line didn't work.
Well, obviously you're a normal guy that would not do that. So yeah.
Oh, that's okay.
That's yeah.
Well,
So
or
do
maybe that works for those guys sometimes. I mean, I would imagine if their failure rate was really high.
It's true, right? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. That's the
Right.
theory. But that doesn't excuse catcalling. I'm just saying.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
don't do that.
So, Ian, I already asked the ladies what they think men do wrong when we approach them. But what do you think women do wrong when we approach them? When men approach women?
Do you want to get approached by women though?
No,
I would love it.
Are you saying when they approach
like when
me?
we approach them?
When we approach
what are
them?
things they do wrong when we attempt to talk to them? Because there's clearly some. I don't think it's like one or the other. I feel like we both do something wrong sometimes. There are definitely things that we could do better as men approaching women. There's things that women can do better when men approach them.
I think you tapped into it earlier, like maybe not assuming what our intentions, maybe not assuming that we're just leading with our pants, like
Yeah.
you know that like that just because you're a woman and I'm a guy and you notice that maybe I'm smiling at you like more than I would smile at like another person, like just because it is clear that maybe I think you're cute doesn't mean that me talking to you is like some sort of invasion of your space and that I'm trying to like make you uncomfortable the way some guys have made women uncomfortable in public by talking to them unnecessarily. Because you can see that, like, guys, I'm more likely to start a conversation with a woman than I am a man in public, like a stranger. Just because, there is that added incentive that just, if for some reason it was an amazing conversation, I would then try and get their number. But because I'm talking to a woman doesn't mean that I have those intentions all the time. And so maybe just to like approach every conversation openly, both guys and girls, and to just guys not be forcing it, because that's what every guy's doing. He's like, oh, I got to say something. We've got to have this mutual connection right now. I've got to like put it out all on the line right now, or what was the point? But if you genuinely just talked about what was right there in front of you and she can, grasp it and have a conversation about it, then it doesn't have to be any more than that. And it doesn't have to be like too big of a moment.
I agree with you. I agree. I just wish, for me, I would like women to just be nicer, to be honest with you. Like
not
you said,
too nice that they lie to you.
Yes.
I'm really trying to change here, guys.
It's just, I think it can be very discouraging. Like, it takes a lot of effort to talk to a beautiful woman. Like, tons of effort. You know how many times us men talk ourselves out of it? Like, nah, she's going to be like, nah. And then sometimes even if your approach is right, sometimes you'll get this rude and stush attitude and you're just like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to like offend you. I just, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So I just thought I would try, and then you just feel like I had a friend who told me she made a guy cry once.
Really?
What?
Yes.
Why was she?
She made a guy cry once.
What
and I was
did she
like,
say?
clearly she said something horrible because he cried. So, I mean.
Okay, that's not right.
And I think it was more of a.
That's almost impressive, though. If you could come at a guy that hard, well, no, guys should be able to cry in every way. A woman should be able to cry, but if I made a woman cry on the street, there'd be people asking me questions.
Right. Like, no matter what the situation was, if you're a man that made a woman cry, you would have a negative connotation surrounding you, no matter what. But it kind of is a double standard. If it's the other way around, it's like, oh, that guy, no matter what, he probably deserved it. You know what I mean? So I just think, like, just if you're not interested, one, don't lie. If you don't have a boyfriend, don't say that.
Right.
Okay?
What's wrong with that?
I
thought it's turning people down nicely.
No, I don't think lying to people is turning them down nicely.
But if someone is polite about it, and I'm like, okay, I want to encourage him to continue doing this for some other girl.
I like that. Okay, yeah.
No, that's how, because I know what you mean. I've seen women, like, guys come to women and they turn them down badly. I'm like, that's totally
You're
not
like, don't
necessary.
do that. It's not helping the community.
So, like, if a guy is nice, and I just, not interested, or I'm just not, or I feel like shit today, I just don't feel like having a conversation, I'm like, I have a boyfriend, but cool. So then it's like, okay, it wasn't horrible. He could do it to some other girl and they could get married and live happy ever after. Like, I want to encourage good behavior, not like, because I also think that guys, they are afraid to approach and I've seen situations where I'm like, I can understand why
especially
guys,
if they might make you cry.
Yeah,
so.
I've seen I'm like, that's totally not necessary. Yeah. Like, I've seen some, girls just go completely, like, you should only act like that if this guy is like trying to kidnap you, trying to get in a car. Like, but,
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Like, I don't know. I feel like I get approached by a lot of weirdos.
Yeah.
So if he's
So-
like
Regular people don't approach me.
No.
It's always the weirdos.
It's always the
exactly, like the
weirdos.
very
Yeah.
like extreme.
I have
that is
I have
why.
So
I have
that's why we
friends.
say we have
Yeah.
a boyfriend because they won't take no for an answer.
Yeah.
They'll keep asking
Okay.
questions and being like, "Oh, why don't you?" It's just about getting rid of the people.
But
the crazy
but
people.
doesn't
Yeah. I'm
doesn't
crazy too.
saying I'm not doesn't saying I'm not interested solve that?
No.
To an extent, some people will still keep going
Yeah.
at you, and I used to say I have a boyfriend. I try to not say that anymore because it's also putting that into the universe and stuff like that. I'm a firm believer in like, okay, you know what? I
yeah.
don't want to send mixed messages out there. I am looking for somebody, but I'm not interested in you. I don't have to tell them that.
Yeah.
I'm just not interested in them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just keeping it like short. And I honestly, it's not a bad thing, but I
Yeah.
think it's better to just say no. And you don't have to give a reason. I don't think there's always, you have to justify everything. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that's pressure on us to
But like, is there a way to say a nice no? Because for me, I always thought like I have a boyfriend was like a nice no.
A lie is
Kind
not
of,
that nice.
kind of like because kind of like it's not you. It's just I'm not in situation, where that's why if it guy's acting gross or whatever, I just be like no and just walk. For me, it was the opposite. If a guy is just disgusting, I just be like no, I just keep walking.
So then, what about the scenario where a guy's not disgusting?
it's
Then-
very
And I
hard.
just-
That's rare.
But
I
we
guess we're
have
talking
to-
about. But you were saying you don't often get approached by the normal guys, and it's often the creepy ones.
Yeah.
And it seems like maybe that's a reason why women act the way they do is
Yeah.
because they're like 95% of the time a guy does come talk to me, he's usually a creep.
Yeah.
What are the odds this guy's not gonna be a creep? I'm gonna treat him like he's still a creep because that's
Well,
my
I've
defense
I've
mechanism.
had like my Toronto male friends would say that Toronto men are like that because Toronto women have made them like that.
We're doing, and you know what? It's like what we admitted earlier. It's like we give numbers and we lie and we say things, and going forward, it's just being more assertive and frank and saying, you know what? I'm not interested,
And
saying it with a smile, politely as well.
Yeah.
Thank you, but I'm not interested. And I've done that before.
Although
There's
that was a
been-
little confusing. And I got mixed messages.
No, listen to the words. I know, but you know.
But you said it was all tone because I got different tone from your
Are
episode.
you being serious?
Kidding.
I'm like, mixed messages. So yeah, just being clear and frank, because I do believe that. I think we do send the wrong messages sometimes, but you just have to choose your words wisely, short and sweet, and that's what it is. It's like how you take rejection, how we would take rejection. Oh, you have a girlfriend? It's okay. It was nice meeting you anyway.
Yeah.
So
well, that's just my personality.
exactly,
You
not
know, it's
everyone's
just
like you, but hopefully people will learn from this.
I think I've gotten to because now rejection for me is like, honestly, the way I am programmed, I'm gonna forget about that girl the next day anyways.
Yeah,
Like-
exactly.
Like that's my way of dealing with the rejection. 'Cause it's like I never even met her in the first place.
Yeah.
So like when my friends will be like, "Do you remember that girl?" I'll be like thinking really hard and oh yeah, I forgot all about that girl because like that's just I think that's honestly like a defense mechanism for me to cope with rejection. It's just like forget about
But I think that's why we're handling with things in a little more petty fashion then, because we're all just putting on little defense mechanisms. I mean, I know there was this one girl where I got really like obsessed with the idea of her profile literally, and just talking to her over text. And then when I got let down by that and it turns out she didn't want to talk to me, I was really eaten up about it because of how I'd felt about it. But then I took a second and I was thinking that was completely a virtual feeling. And then it did go away a lot faster than anything in real life would have. So that's why we're dealing with more fleeting just relationships, because we're sifting through it quicker.
Yeah.
And we're confusing it a little bit with non-reality. And so it's a little more flippant now.
right. You want
Can
to
I
say
ask a
something?
question, actually?
Hells yeah.
Hells yeah. Okay, so are there times when, for all of you, male, female, when you really don't like the person, but you are going to give them a chance anyway?
Yeah.
Yeah?
What do you mean by chance? Like
you don't want to, maybe you don't have enough information, you feel like you're prejudging, or like right off the bat, is it always like a yes and no?
no. You want to?
God, I feel like I'm 90% sure
Right away.
within the first hour of knowing someone
Okay.
if I want to date them.
Of course.
So wait, do you mean
I
this
mean, like,
pre-approach or is this after we've got the number, we've exchanged, like we've been communicating?
You haven't been communicating. This is just, you're walking down the street, you see the person.
Okay.
You've maybe had a 5-minute conversation. You're not super sure.
Doesn't happen in Toronto, but okay, go ahead.
I'm just living out my NY experiences. I'm just living here.
Yeah, that's true. That's not a very normal hypothetical that we have.
Okay, you can cut that from the.
Well, I mean, garbage man is not really.
No,
good.
but look, this is the TTC where someone did approach me kindly, but I think honestly, I think I must have given the wrong number. I don't know what situation, but we didn't manage to communicate. Yeah. But like, it was actually nice, and usually I'd be like, not really, but I'm like, hey, he seemed nice, so I might give him a chance.
Okay.
I've heard of that a lot, though. He seemed nice.
Yeah.
Give him a chance.
I feel like this question is directed more at women because we are always looking for the chance.
Yeah, it's true. Like recently, I was getting along with a girl, but I also was like, this is not a girl that I end up seeing myself with. But the fact that she was like into me and paying attention to me and like
That's pretty high.
Yeah.
Like, who's gonna argue with that? You're not gonna say no to that. So even when you're like, well, I'm this way and I've got this perfect wife that I'm supposed to have, and she's like this, and we're gonna raise our kids like this. But then you meet someone completely different from that, and just because they're that different than that, or you weren't expecting yourself to spend so much time with that type of person, doesn't mean that you're not going to give them that time and see how it goes. And I grew to just appreciate that time and learn a lot from that person because you're learning more about yourself every time you spend someone with someone new.
True.
It's all. I think it's all good use of your time. Yeah. The swiping, bad use of your time. But the time spent with anyone that you meet on that's good. Still good use of your time.
That's really good. That's really nice.
I talk a lot of shit about Toronto women, but
you do.
To be honest with you, I just say that because there's a lot of barriers to break down with you guys. But like when you get past those barriers, you guys are like really great people. You know what I mean? Like it's just like once you, like when you get the wall, you know, I was talking, so obviously I gotta say something nice to balance it out. But you know, when you get like, I've met a lot of women like at first you'll be like, whew, this is gonna be a long one, and then you get to know them, and then you get to hear about them, and then I love Toronto because it's so diverse. So like they may be from a culture not yours, and so that's always interesting to learn more about them. And then it's like, wow, you're an awesome person. And when I first met you, you're kind of
standoffish.
Yeah, you were kind of standoffish. You know what I mean? So, and I think that it's an issue for both sides, though. I think that Toronto women can be standoffish, which is why Toronto men are creepy, and then Toronto men are creepy because Toronto women are standoffish. So you know, it kind of is like. It's an effect on each other, and I think we always blame the other one, when really it's both of us with this communication gap we have with each other. Were you going to say something?
No, I was going to say I think we're also like just generally awkward because like
there's that point too.
Yeah, we just don't know, like, because I'm also thinking about times where like, creepy guys aside, there are people like, you know, we just are talking, like it could be in the street or whatever, and we're having a nice conversation, and I think the person might be like, oh, we should hang out sometime or whatever. Right. And we just don't like, you know, like someone's about to leave. We just don't know who's supposed to say something. Yeah. So we're kind of understand, like, what do we do? Yeah. Should we exchange? No one wants to exchange numbers because, you know, that's like whatever.
To be honest,
so it's like,
you know why that is? It's because it takes me like 5 seconds to pull out my contacts page, and that's the awkward 5 seconds. Is when 2 people are waiting there, one's about to release a number, and they're like, did I just agree to do that? Like, my phone's taking forever to load, and like, I honestly can't find my contacts page every time.
I know, it's so like, so it's like, and then you started like exchanging like, you know, Facebook, but who has Facebook? Like it's just like it's like this weird like, oh, so we'll just hang, but I don't like, it's this weird thing, and so I don't know how women can make it better for guys, or if, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's always that
should girls just say, hey, can I have your number?
Once you've connected, once you've gone through all the barriers and you connected, that number ask is always like almost a deal breaker. You know what I mean? Because it's like, all right, she seems cool. I want to get to know her. How do I ask for a number? without asking for her number because you can't just be like, give me your number. You know? You gotta say it like, so we should stay in contact somehow. Like, what's up?
Yeah.
We should stay, and then we're just staring at each other. Like, how is it? That's gonna
So
happen.
I'll see you when
But
I see you.
it's been different experiences for me, you know, because, oh man, my Toronto experiences are crazy. So I remember I met this girl. She was a beautiful girl too, and she was nice. She was cool. Personality was cool. We were kind of flirting back and forth with each other than I thought. And so,
I mean, that
and it was a dating event. It was
It
like a
was?
singles entrepreneurs dating event.
Oh, so then you should be
It
open
was-
to like.
So right, so it was
she better be single.
So apparently, I don't think she was.
What?
But yeah. So and I went for like we were talking. I was like, I went for the number ask, but I was like, you know, do you have a business card? And she was like, no. And I was like, well, how are we supposed to? We were talking about what there was to do in like Mississauga. I was like, well, how am I supposed to find out what there's to do in Mississauga? She was like, I don't know. And I was like,
Okay, that's.
But you had a nice conversation.
we had great rapport.
Yeah.
And then I was like, all right, so it was cool to meet you. I'm going to go. I'm hungry. I got to get up out of here now. So he is looking like...
Sorry, no, that was my sneeze and I'm holding it. Keep telling your story though. She was hungry. You're hungry.
So I was just like, that was weird because usually if a girl's interested, if a woman's interested, I've learned, if you ask for the business card and they'll say no, they'll be like, but you can have my number. I was like, okay, cool.
So you lead with business card hoping to get a no.
No.
Do I keep messing this up? Your story?